Hello everyone, this is Persephone and this is a video that has been requested by one of the goddesses who are watching me. Thank you for the interesting idea. And she wants me to talk about payment methods in findom. There are many articles about this topic online and I always try to make timeless content, so I'm going to tell you what's really going on, information that you'll never find anywhere else, because it would be very easy for me to just make a video and recycle the same trash over and over and say, oh, this payment method because it's cool, oh, this payment method because it's untraceable. All of that is bullshit. Okay, let's cut to the chase. First of all, when you start findom, everyone is going to start telling you, don't use PayPal, don't use PayPal, it doesn't allow porn content, you're going to get banned, blah, 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 stuff like that. And that is to an extent true, that PayPal does not allow porn content and you're going to get banned if you register it as porn content, which is something that obviously you shouldn't do. So what you do in this case, if you want to use PayPal, is you can register things as consultation or accepting money from a friend or something like that. And yes, you're going to use PayPal because everyone is using it, and most of all because most of your pay bigs, especially the older ones, they're not tech savvy. So usually they are used on having only one payment method or maximum two payment methods from my experience. They don't want to learn something new, and if you try to force them, they're just going to avoid you, you're going to lose them, and you're not going to get any money. So the general rule on how we move here is whatever your pay big wants to pay you with, you accept it. So if he wants PayPal, you're fine with PayPal. If you want something that you do not have, that I'm going to explain as the video progresses, you can tell him, honestly, I don't have that, but I can make an account right now, so give me some time. And men say yes, you just make the account and you accept the money there for the first time. Paxum is one of the things that got very praised when it first came out and they were starting to use it, but for me it's horrible, it's a scam, because their customer service is even worse than Bank of America. I have terrible opinion for Bank of America too, so it's taking like forever. And that's the second point of my video. There are many payment methods that they start very well, and as time goes by, you realize that their customer service gets worse, their payments are delayed, and things like that happen. So what you should do is always use your own brain and your own judgment, and don't trust what anyone says online. What I did, and I recommend to you, is make accounts in as many payment methods as possible at first and just let them sit there. Okay, if they offer a card, you can get the card too. If you have to do with a paybill who is paranoid, you're going to need untraceable payment methods such as PaySafe. Personally, I don't like untraceable payment methods for two reasons. The first and obvious reason is that what if the person is a minor? Oh, I don't understand how all of those people who use PaySafe never think of that. What if it's someone who PaySafe, it's used for legal gambling mostly, and there are many 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds that they use it to, I don't know, for legal gambling or to buy movies or games or whatever. I like to know that the person can at least have some information that prove that they are over 18. Okay, but if you insist on untraceable and you want money like that, PaySafe is a very good choice. Other than that, there is Skrill. I could list 50 different methods here. My point is, make many accounts and let them sit there. Okay, let them sit there. When someone comes to you and they ask, how do you want to get paid? You can choose, after trying all of them, you can choose what works for you first and foremost. For me, Amazon gift cards works great. I mean, this is up to the person's taste, of course. And I say that because I'm not in need of usually cold cash to say like that. I don't pay rent. I have other sources of income. So because I shop a lot online, when someone sends me an Amazon gift card, that's great. So if someone asks me personally, what do you want as payment? I would say PayPal, Amazon gift card, sometimes Skrill, it depends. But my number one preference would definitely be Amazon gift card. So if someone doesn't want that and they want a payment that is quick, then PayPal is the quickest. It depends a lot on what you want, because Skrill, there are many payment methods that you have to wait to get your money. For example, OnlyFans, which is a payment method that I also recommend because it allows you to start content, takes 5 days to even process that. OnlyFans is pretty much, you can make an account there, you can put pictures, videos, blog posts, whatever you want. It completely allows adult content, and you can get people to subscribe as your fans and pay you every month. The difference between OnlyFans and many vids is that in OnlyFans, unless you're a fan, you can't see anything. So if you're worried about your safety, that's a payment method that gives you direct bank deposit and no one can see it. You send it to whoever you want. Usually people don't list OnlyFans as a method of payment, but for me, those are also methods of payment. What are things that nobody told me and I had to figure out by myself is, like I told you, most paypigs, they have already decided how they want to pay you. So even though they ask you, for example, do you use Google Wallet? That is not in all countries. If you say to them, I don't use it, but I use, let's say, Amazon gift cards, usually what they say is, I don't know how that works. And they get disappointed. They don't say, oh, mistress, or oh, goddess, I'm going to pay you and make an Amazon account. This is what I've realized from my experience. So there's no point trying to talk to them and reason with them because most of them are inferior and delusional anyways, okay? And they have their tiny dick to worry about. So just have a bunch of accounts there and tell them, you want to pay me on Skrill, that's fine. You want to pay me on Google Wallet, just fine. You want to pay me somewhere else, that's also fine. One thing that I recommend attention is wishlists. There are plenty of people I know that know a bit about computers. You don't have to be a super hacker, that they can extract personal information from your wishlist. So personally, I don't use wishlists. I would prefer gift cards because I can buy whatever I want and there is no point in having a wishlist anyway. And I know when someone is a creeper because when men ask me, I want to buy you something from a wishlist, and when I say I don't have one, they get mad. If you want to buy me stuff so much, you can send me the money or you can send me the gift cards and I can send you a picture wearing them or whatever to prove it to you that I bought those items. If you don't want to do that and you insist and insist and insist on a specific method, then that's a problem. So you have to be very flexible with your methods, but because I always try to make those videos educational from a financial standpoint, because I have been shocked about how many people don't know basic things about finances and I'm trying to help here, is you always need to think big, long term and the bigger picture. What do I mean by that? All of those payment methods are very nice and very good and they're going to come bite you in the ass later in case you become very successful. For example, PayPal, if you're an American, has a limit of $20,000 and 200 payments, and after that the IRS is automatically being contacted, which means you're going to have to pay taxes anyway. Because I get contacted by people who are delusional and they are telling me, how can I avoid paying taxes? I'm never going to give such advice to make yourself a felon and me an accomplice to felony. Okay, you pay taxes. I don't care if findom is sex work or immoral or you go to hell. You pay taxes like everyone else. Which means keep that in mind. I say that because I have women that I know that they became very successful and they never planned to put money aside for when the tax payment time came. Also, there was the story with the incel who was reporting cam girls and mistresses to the IRS because they were charging for their Snapchat, they were charging for their Skype, and they weren't paying taxes for that. For me, I know I'm paying my taxes just fine, so if someone wants to try to fuck with me, I'm going to be laughing at them. But I say this because there are actually people that they don't know that you need to pay taxes. So whatever you're doing, keep track of how much money you're getting, and you can consult an accountant. And if you're worrying about what am I supposed to put on my taxes, you can put entertainer, you can put consultation, you can put erotic photography. You don't have to put cam girl or I humiliate small dicks for a living, okay? It's up to what you want. And if you are going to be worried about what you're going to put on the accounting form, you have a lot to do to, how to say this? If you're a shy person, this is not a place for you, okay? But if you feel that you want to give it a try, just give it a try to the point that it gets comfortable and you don't abuse yourself. So to sum this video up, there are plenty of payment methods, you can look them up online. Find some that you can set accounts on and subscribe to all of them and just keep the accounts empty, keep them just sitting there, okay? Wait for the paypigs to come, because if you have already your Twitter, your Pornhub, your Instagram, all the things that we talked in the previous videos, if you have them, the paypigs will come. When they ask you, how do you want to be paid, already have at least a couple of methods that you prefer. Like I said, you want fast, you want slower, you want steady, you want people to subscribe and come back for more. Decide into methods. Say, those are my top 2, but I accept more methods as well. Then listen to what the paypig has to say. If someone is a creeper, if someone is giving you an exceptionally hard time, if someone promises to pay you and then they don't pay you, you cut those people off. Okay, and from my experience, the majority of cam girls that I know, they end up using either PayPal or direct bank transfer from things like ManyVids and Chaturbate, okay? Because In my opinion, nothing beats direct bank transfer because it minimizes the fees. But if you don't want that, again, I cannot say there is one fits all rule because different people have different needs, okay? I'm only going to say about Chaturbate because I always recommend the best thing to do is to combine findom with coming. After you come and you get paid like a couple of times on Chaturbate, you have the daily payment option, which is something every few days you get money. And I recommend this because if you're a noob and you're not good with budgeting, or if you somehow have a lot of expenses, there is 1 month and your house broke down, your car broke down, and you need a lot of money, that's the best choice. Never depend on men for anything, especially paypigs. Paypigs are useless most of the cases, okay? They need a lot of training, and especially when you start new, you're going to be getting a lot of bottom of the barrel dudes that other more experienced mistresses ditched, and they come to you because they're like, they don't have anywhere else to go. So it's better to have a source of income because you know that Chaturbate and many vids and OnlyFans, there are platforms that they're going to pay you every month as long as you meet the threshold. They're not going to be like a dude who wants to get off today and tomorrow he's going to be tipping someone else and forgetting you. Okay, that's all I had to say about payment methods. And if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them below in the comment section. I think when we first start, our first and foremost priority would be to establish the audience. Because that's the last thing I'm going to say about this topic in general, there is this wave of messages that I'm getting that people say, where should I start on social media, Persephone? Please tell me. What do you have to sell? Do you have pictures? Do you have videos? Do you have a book? Do you have an ebook? Do you have an idea? If you don't have anything, there is this idea that you're going to build connections on Facebook selling nothingness. This is not how reality works, okay? So after you have decided on how you're going to go with coming, what kind of persona you have, what kind of character you have, and I say persona because men are usually visual types, so it's good to be known as something and remain into that something. Actually, I'm going to make a video about that, a separate one, but I'm just going to say this. There was a cam girl that I like her for years and I follow her work, that when she started, she was chubby and she didn't like being chubby. It's because she didn't have enough money to take care of herself the way she wanted to. And now she slimmed down a lot and she's losing a lot of fans. She's getting hate from fans and she's getting skinny shaming from fans because they said we're into bigger girls and you kind of betray us. So I think it's better to decide where you want to stand. If you want to be the witty girl with the blue hair, or the nerdy gamer girl, or the girl who is more curvy and more sensual, it's better to find something that works well with your real personality and build on that, especially if you want to do it long term. Otherwise, it's going to be exhausting and it's going to create you a lot of resistance and bitterness from your fans. They're going to end up feeling betrayed. Okay, thank you for watching.